I was talking to a friend recently, and he works a regular 9 to 5 job, and I was talking to him about real estate investing, and then I realized that he has no idea how to get started the way a real estate investor does it. And what I mean by that is you're looking at it from how much money the property produces, not how much money you qualify for, like a home buyer. The process of being a real estate investor when you're buying properties in LLCs and different corporations or entities like that, and versus you buying a home using your DTI and all of that, two totally different things. So I figured I got to create a video on this. This video is going to break down how to be a real estate investor. Alright guys, welcome to the Home Zone, where we help you multiply the assets that you own. And through this video, I'm going to show you guys how to multiply your assets. So there are 4 basic steps to buying real estate the right way. You got to find the property, then you got to fund it, then you got to fix it, and then you got to finish it. Whether that finish is you're going to flip the property or you're going to rent the property out. Either way, that's the 4 steps. Find, fund, fix, finish. All right, let's go into the first step, finding properties. Now, how do you find properties? Well, you can do the regular thing. You can talk to real estate agents and wholesalers and things like that, right? Or you can send out mailers to people. You can do cold calling. You can get those text blast things. You can have a VA do cold calling, so that means you got to hire a VA. You can do door knocking. You can do door hangers, where it's kind of like a menu, like a pizza place might put into your door. Well, you can hang a thing that says like "I buy houses" and then put your phone number, email address, or whatever. And then there's what I do. And what is that? I post on social media that I buy real estate. So I just talk on social media that I buy real estate and that I'm in the real estate business, and that people reach out to me all of the time and say, "Hey Hone, do you want to buy this property?" And here's where the cool snowballing effect occurs. I treat a seller really, really well. I figure out a win-win scenario for them. They really, really enjoy working with me. And then they forward my contact along to another person, who then calls me and says, "Hone, I heard about you from so-and-so, and I have a property for sale. Do you want to buy it?" And then I go over there, I create a win-win scenario. I buy their property. They refer me to the next person, and so on and so on and so on and so on. The moral of the story there is treat everybody well. If you treated them well, then what happens is they refer you to other people, and then you win even more. But if you kill them over here, right, if you just like beat them to submission and they hate it working with you, but they sold you the house anyway, they're not going to refer you to the next person. So treat everybody well, and then this way you get those referrals and that lifetime business. It's so much more. All right, the next part is funding, right? So we have find and then we have fund, funding. So where does money come from? So some people think about working with a bank and they're like, "Oh, Hone, I need a down payment and my credit score is this and my DTI is that," and all that kind of stuff. Blah. So how do you fund it? Well, you can use cash. You can use the bank like we were just talking about, but you can also do a couple of other things. There's a couple of frameworks that I like to teach my students. One being finance at the source. What does that mean? Well, the seller, believe it or not, can be the source of financing. If they own the property free and clear, you can do something like seller finance. If they have a mortgage, then you can take over the property subject to the existing mortgage. If you guys don't know what that means, watch other videos of mine. I break it down even more, or make sure you subscribe so you can watch future videos where I break that down even more. So you can use finance at the source. Right, finance at the source, seller finance, subject to, maybe even a lease option, right? Having the seller provide the financing that you need in order to buy the property, or you can use short-term money, or I call it short money for short, right? So you go from short money to long money. Short money would be things like lines of credit, credit cards, hard money loans, and then even private money loans, right? So you have these different sources of money. And then after you buy the properties, you're going to convert them over to long money, long-term money. So that's where you go get your bank financing and things like that, because a line of credit might have a term where you have to pay it back. A private money lender and a hard money lender, they may want their money back in 1 year. If you're using their money to buy the property, you're going to have to figure out how to pay them back. So that's where you go from short money to long money, and then the long money is what you use to pay them back. If the finance at the source says no, then you go to short money and then you convert that to long money, right? So that's funding. notice how I'm not saying that you're putting 20% down and you're not and your DTI is not being looked at, because some of these strategies, they don't look at that stuff, right? If you're using LLC to buy the property and then you're going to refinance with the bank later, they're going to be looking at you as a commercial borrower, and your DTI does not matter anymore, right? They're looking at how the building performs. That's called a DSCR loan, right? They're looking at how the building performs. They're going to lend it based on whether or not your cash flow can support the mortgage, not whether you at your job and your income can support the mortgage. Two totally different things. Hopefully I'm not losing you. You're following along, right? So we have find, fund, fix, right? So now we're going to fix. So with fix, all you're going to do is go in there and look at what needs to get fixed up. What you're going to need to do is make sure you don't over improve. I've seen that happen a lot. Maybe you're in a not so great neighborhood and you want to put marble countertops everywhere. Well, that isn't justified because all the houses in the neighborhood don't have marble countertops, and you won't get paid for those marble countertops. Just because you spent $100 a square foot doesn't mean that they're going to value it at $100 a square foot. So make sure that you don't over improve, and at the same time, don't under improve. If there's a stack pipe and it's cast iron and it's currently not leaking, but you have the wall open, replace the stack pipe. Do things like that so that your ongoing maintenance doesn't kill you if this is going to be a rental property. Handle the problems that could potentially come up now so that you don't have to pay 5 times more later if it were to leak, because now you have finished drywall, finished floors, paint, and everything else, right? Not including damage to the tenant's stuff. So make sure you spend the money to rehab things while it's easy, while walls are open and everything else, but don't overdo it with like gold fixtures because you don't get the value for it. Now, if you are in a super nice area and a gold fixture will have your property value go higher, then by all means do it, right? So just make sure you're doing the appropriate rehab, right? Not too little, not too much. Just right. Now, the final step is to finish the property. Either you're going to flip the property, so that means you're going to sell it to an end buyer that they're going to call it home now, or you're going to keep the property and rent it out long term. There is no better one. It just depends on what you are after. If you flip the property, then you're going to get the most cash up front the quickest. The downside is you're going to have to pay the most taxes on it, and you don't have the property anymore. So that means you got to go out and find another property. If you go and rent the property out, you're going to get your money in a slower drip, right? You're going to get your money in a slower drip. But the benefits are you may experience appreciation over time. You will get principal pay down as you pay down your loan. You are also going to get the tax benefits of owning rental real estate through depreciation. And also, you're going to pay the lowest amount of taxes because with the depreciation and the tax benefits, you get to write off against the income. So it can seem like you're not making any money on paper when in reality you are. So you have many benefits, but the money coming in is the slowest through rentals versus flips where you get one big chunk. There is no right or wrong. Both are fine, and maybe you can do both. Totally up to you, but the long-term plan for you should be to own rentals because they will pay you month after month, year after year, and if you do it right, can do it for the rest of your life and the rest of your children's life and the rest of their lives. Houses and properties, they last for a very long time. So you could own these properties for decades and decades and decades, and some families have. When it comes to finish, there's no right answer, but I will say that you do want to graduate to rental properties at some point. You can flip in the beginning just to make a whole bunch of money so that you can pay your bills and escape your 9-to-5, but ultimately rentals is the name of the game. Now, for those of you who are interested in rental properties, luckily for you, I have what's called the Rental Property Multiplier Academy. Now, we don't only talk about rentals because, like I said, flipping is a part of the process because it will give you a bunch of money up front really quick, and then you guys can go pay your bills and escape your 9-to-5 and do it really comfortably. But eventually we want to graduate to rental property, so I created the Rental Property Multiplier Academy. So if you guys are interested in learning more about that, feel free to email me, hone@honezone.com. Alright guys, well, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and share this video with somebody who is looking to get into the real estate business. Alright, that is it guys. I'm Hone Ty. Let's multiply.